Blockchain is actually the technology for new relationship, like how people work with people, how people work with a company, work with an association, even work with the government. And the crypto is just acting as the connecting dots or connecting points, basically like a blood flowing into the entire ecosystem and make it live. The crypto is not designed for human, it's actually designed for machine. However, the most of the utility of the crypto is still between human to human.
Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Tony Edward, and my guest today is Sunny Liu, who is the co-founder and CEO of VeChain. Sunny, great to have you.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Always feel great to come back to your podcast.
Absolutely. And, I'm a big fan of VeChain. I'm a VET token holder, and I'm excited to dive into the latest and greatest around VeChain. And, there's a lot happening in the market. So I want to get your thoughts on everything. I would love to kick it off with the Hayabusa Devnet, which went live. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, actually, it's a testnet phase. We leave like 3 months before the official Hayabusa launch. So September 2nd to September 9th, that's a migration for the DevNet. We basically simulate everything for the mainnet, and the official launch. That's exactly 3 months later. That's going to be December 2nd to December 9th for the Hayabusa launch. So it went pretty well, and we did all of the testing internally, and also try the different type of migration, and try the different type of situation. Make sure we know like how to respond in case anything other than we expected. We can respond to that. Also, right now we're on the auditing phase, so we're getting a bunch of security auditors to auditing the codes, auditing the protocols, basically auditing everything. Spend quite a fortune on the securities. Roughly, we can get the auditing report around the early October or mid October. If everything runs well, we're good to go. If even we discover some small bugs or something we could improve, we still have roughly 1.5 months to fix it. So yeah, so far so good. I'm very confident about the launch.
That's awesome. Great progress there, and looking forward to the future updates. So maybe we can run through some of the benefits of this update, right? Such as I read VeThor, inflation goes down, block rewards earned only by staking VET, and much more. Can we walk through some of the benefits?
Oh, of course. I actually the Hayabusa is the main show. Let's say,
Mm.
Galactica, which launched in June, it's just a warm up. There are some cool features. Where you mentioned about the VeSor in Galactica as well. Firstly, more demands. 100% of the transaction fees will be burned, and also dynamic gas fees as a new feature has been introduced into the Galactica. So, which simply to say more demands, more um, you know, cutting the more consumption of the vSword, right? That's Galactica phase. But in the Hayabusa, the main change will be firstly, insurance of the vSword will be greatly reduced, even considering the current staking um, situation or staking level. We could roughly predict it, 40 to 50% of inflation rate will be reduced.
Mm.
And also the allocation, that's a most important thing. The allocation of the VSOR, the new insurance issued VSOR, will be only allocated to either validators or either delegators. No more users. So basically, in simply words to say, we're kind of burning the candle from both ends. Firstly, more demands, more burned, and also cut to the supply. I would say, yeah, good, looking good for the VSOR valuation.
That's awesome. And then the other major news I'm really excited to talk to you about is VeChain staking or VET token staking via Stargate. Tell us about this and how it works.
Yeah, well, the Stargate is a tool, basically not only for delegators but actually also for validators. So we launched the Stargate in Galactica phase in June, and people love that. And so far, we already have more than 12,000 NFTs representing the different level of delegators, and some of the level delegators actually the big level, with 50 million VAS staking is quite a competitive.
Mm.
I noticed that there were two menial node just getting available, and then just few hours, boom, it's gone. Like people just take it, right? Because the high level of delegator, that means a high APY. So, people are really chasing after that. And also totally 6 billion VET staking coming from the delegators. So the Stargate um, will have the 2.0 in December, right before the Hayabusa launch. There are cool features introduced. Give an example, we're going to have more visibility in terms of the delegator staking, validator staking. Plus, the validator have a major change as well in the Hayabusa. So no more fixed 25 million staking only. You will be dynamic. So people can choose from 25 million, still maintain the minimum, but up to 600 million that. So for sure, more staking, you will have more chance to produce the blocks. We're also getting more rewards. And also, there is a very interesting function we call boost features. Right now, when you mint the new delegator NFT, you got to have maturity time, right? You got to wait for 3 days or 30 days or 45 days, up to 60 days for the highest staking. We realize it's kind of blocking some of the users when user doesn't really have a patience, which is quite common in the crypto world.
Yeah.
So we offer the boosting features. So you can pay a certain amount of whatever VSOL, better VT to, getting the maturity time to shorting to be zero. That means you can do the delegation right away. And also the same amount of the time you could use for the, waiting for the maturity, you can getting the rewards right away. And you are getting comparing what you pay for the boosting, and you will get more rewards from the same amount of time. Let's put it this way. And everything you paid to boost your maturity, not gonna be taken by anybody, including the foundation. You will be burned right away. So you're not just speed up the process, but also you're contributing to the whole ecosystem valuation. Basically, you are burning tokens by enjoy the rewards right away. That kind of use cases. And in general speaking, the validator is actually for institutions. Even there are some, let's say, long-term holders, some whales also. They go through one of our community projects called Redino. Redino already on board 19 validators so far, and they're still ongoing. Or majorly is for the institutions. So recently, Kirok actually set up the two validators to join the validator pool. And delegator is more for the retail people. So as long as, like I introduced last time, as long as you know how to operate the NFT and it just click few buttons, then you become the delegators. You directly participate the decentralization, and you're getting rewards without worrying your, without worrying the safety of your assets. So that's the best part of it.
That's really great. You mentioned, a lot of institutions can participate. Can retail participate or directly or
Yeah.
indirectly?
Well, that's also part of a plan and deliverables in terms of the institution onboarding, right? So
Sure.
recently we onboard the Bico, and we also have a Redino as from the community as a smaller platform. So if you, as a user, let's say there are two ways. Either you wanted to staking to the service provider like Bico and join them to as a whole join the Bitco's validator. Let's put it this way. Or you can Redino do it providing the similar service. Or you can holding your assets as long as you manage to get more than 25 million VAT. You can use Redino as a validator as a service. Well, actually, I heard Bitco is offering the same thing. It's called they have a product. It's called Bring Your Own Validators, which means you as an asset owner you still control your assets, right? You have your VET in your wallet, but you basically delegate to somebody or endorse some no operator to run the validator together. So we call it an endorser plus no operator, and group together, you can have validator run. Sure, you gotta spare, you gotta pay some of your earnings to the service fees, right?
Sure.
But still, it's low entry for anybody who wants to be the validator, or simply you can just be a delegator.
That's really great. Yeah, that's something I personally wanna look into, so I'm gonna explore that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very cool. And then recently there was a announcement of VeChain partnering with Franklin Templeton, which is a huge huge TradFi institution. Tell us about that partnership and how you'll be working together.
It's kind of hard actually.
Okay.
You know all of the PR policy. Actually, today we read about the news. Franklin Templeton have a full collaboration with the Binance as well,
Yeah.
right? It's I would say it's quite a natural. Following the institutions onboarding, for the more clarity in terms of regulations, those serious players coming from the Wall Street, as we discussed the last time, it's inevitable. The trend is inevitable.
Mm,
So for us, we're actually working on several different partnership with Franklin Templeton. What we can say today, let me see, is we are onboarding the enterprises to be the Franklin Templeton clients as well. We go to the market together. Also, for sure, we're going to leverage with blockchain technology coming from VeChain. We're going to use the VeChain blockchain as well. It's just like we didn't finish that yet. So from Franklin Templeton, they were like, okay, we're gonna be very I would even call it a conservative a bit. They want to play safe. They don't want to get any trouble from the SEC. So that's why they say, okay, once it's done, then we can make a proper announcement. But we're definitely looking for long-term relationship with VeChain. We're going to go to the market together. But the Franklin and Templeton just represent one of the examples, right? Like I said, we have a we have a several category in terms of institutions. We do have like a long-term investor, like a Key Rock, and the validators. Key Rock also do the validators. Actually, we have a few institutions on the pipeline, in the pipeline as well. And also we have a service provider like Bico. They provide a staking service to the retail, to the institutions. They provide bring your validators, like I just said. So allow, even the retail people can, without technical capability to run a server, they still can be part of the validator program, enjoy the APYs. And also some of the service provider, like the Thai, they have the terminal to integrate, which actually is done already with VeChain, integrated with VeChain blockchain, so they can provide the business insights coming from whatever the data over the VeChain blockchain to give more visibility to institutional investors. So simply to say, we done the Key Rock, Big Go, the Thai, Franklin Templeton. There are also a bunch of institutions on board, which is kind of fitting into the whole market vibes right now.
right.
From retail to institutions. That's the main theme for the crypto market right now.
Yeah, it's amazing, Sonny, since, the Genius Act has passed, this current administration here in the United States is very pro crypto. We've seen a lot of big names, some of the biggest banks coming out saying they want to launch crypto trading, launch their own stable coins, tokenizing. It's amazing how many institutions are here now.
Yeah, the trend is inevitable, I was saying. The crypto market now just sitting at $4 trillion as a whole, right? Bitcoin is 2 point something. But I would say it's inevitable. Let's say institution going to be the main force to push up to the entire crypto market to another level.
Mm,
And also, we heard about all of the news like DATs, like the collaboration between Franklin Templeton and Binance, and also even the Arkins, the chair of SEC,
yeah.
made a point in Paris saying like, "Oh, we're welcome to super app, to aggregate the trading, the liquidity, the borrow and lending, all of the different type of services." into for the future of the crypto.
Mm,
But also on the other side, I would say based on the recent conversation with many institutions, I think what we're missing in the entire crypto world, we're doing that, but we're kind of one of a very few, is really driving for mass adoption by utility driven. Like why people use crypto, right? Why people access holding the crypto, or what do you really invest for? I mean, sure, everybody looking for profits, looking for, altcoins see them coming up. Honestly, I think it's very soon. We know the Federal Reserve is going to cut the interest. That's like 99% of the chance for sure
mm,
in the middle of September. So it's a clear signal following the previous pattern. That's a clear signal. The bull market is coming up. Um, but also from the investor perspective, what do you really invest? What kind of value or what kind of the utility those projects are creating? And the funny thing is, very interesting. I discover most of the projects are actually getting crowded in a similar track.
mm.
Payments, stablecoin, DeFi protocols. But following another thought, we believe blockchain going to be the internet 2.0 or internet, the next generation of the internet. That's why we call it Web3, from
Mm,
Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, right? So it cannot be just narrow in finance world. It must be every industries. So
yeah.
I would say our narrative, what whatever we're trying to do, from the enterprise adoption to the sustainability angle to drive the individual adoptions, this is going to be a gold for the next wave. It's just, following the logic, financial application is very, I'm not saying easy, but it's very clear, right? And there are loads of the use cases already, but everybody is trying to do the same thing.
Mm,
I think it's a question mark for me.
yeah.
But we do have our unique position, and we're getting more and more attractions, you know, from the institutions. They were like, oh yeah, I like this kind of story. I like long-term thinking. I like the user growth from your ecosystem.
Mm,
And by the way, the VBetter just reached to more than 5 million users right now, and 46 applications. I think it's almost doubled it up since last time we talked. And we still
wow.
get 8 to 10 in the pipeline, always. So, and as a result, as the impacts, there are total 36 million actions coming from those 5 million users, in a cumulative way. And, we get super exciting about this type of results. And the institutions getting super excited about this type of results. So I would say, it's just a matter of time, and we just keep doing what we're doing, and our time is coming.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, speaking of utility, how's VeBetter, VeWorld, and all utility on that side? So it sounds like there's a lot of adoption, a lot of growth in users.
Yes, like I said, 5 million users, 46 applications, 36 million impacts or actions. And recently we just launched a new program to even give another boost up. We
Mm.
call it a VeFounder program. And also, I start with my letter. I promise I didn't use the AI to write this letter. It's all by me, all by myself. So basically, I reflecting. I use all of my experiences to be a founder. I've been a founder for 10 years. Time really flies. So we find out the biggest challenge is no more just technical, like how do you build the smart contract? How do you deliver applications? That's actually a quite an easy part, especially with support from AI, different type of the AI agents. It's getting much, much easier. However, the biggest challenge so far to most of the founders, to most of the applications, is how do you grow your users? How do you iterate your products? I share my philosophy as a founder to all of the entrepreneurs, to all of the founders in the VeChain community. I said we have a three rules. Number one, you got to pick right. You got to find the right track, right industry, right? whatever AI, whatever crypto, that's a right for sure. No one would question that.
Mm,
And also, you got to choose long. That meaning when you facing the tough decisions, like okay, which way I got to choose, you always think from the long perspective, long way perspective. But even you pick right, you choose long, you still need to iterate extremely fast,
yeah.
right? So most of we find the most of the common challenges to those founders, it's no more just individual developer build application and naturally attract to the users. No, you got to operate that. You got
Mm.
to do marketing. You got to do fundraising. You got to engage with the users. You got to manage the communities. There are many other stuff. So we launched the VeFounder program to give another extra support, looking for real builders, real entrepreneurs could build the application and grow with us together.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I love that. As an entrepreneur myself, I love that you're kind of helping to incubate and help these entrepreneurs and navigate the way. And you said it's with BCG. That's Boston Consulting Group,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. BCG also play a quite an important role into that. Basically, we designed the VeFounder program together. You know, we actually start with the three applications. So basically, it was developed and delivered with BCG together. So VeChain Foundation and BCG together, we delivered the three applications. You know, with a starting package, which means we already got listed in the VBET. We already got the codes delivered. We already got the certain, we call it a C users, not much, a few thousands. And also we even finished the integration with the AI agent to verify your actions, right? So it's running, it's already over there. And even with some of the, let's say, possible future business model designed, also co-designed between us and BCG together. So it's like we already serve you the pre-made dishes. What you need to do is just put in the microwave and heat it up, and you can start to eat. So so
Great.
we're gonna continue to do that, to let's say whatever is coming from our depository, like a POCs or products, or even some of the enterprise opportunities. We're getting more and more inquiries from the enterprises as well. Um, Even some of the enterprise opportunities we can put into the VFounder program, you know, and getting anybody is interesting, devote themselves to the growth of the ecosystem, your own applications, then it's free for you. So it's
Mhm.
better than just give like 100 grand for the ground program, and money plays one thing, but also we're looking for real builders, really devote themselves to build this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be looking to Web3 to transition from Web2 to Web3, a lot of developers, a lot of entrepreneurs. So it's great that you're making it easy for them to do that because some of this can be intimidating. It's brand new, but if you can make it easy,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah, and also the other strategy, the focus is getting the infrastructure more and more ready. The last time we talked, I think it was March or somewhere.
Yeah, around that.
March, yeah, I think it's another testnet phase for Galactica. When we talk about that, we said, okay, we're going to onboard those custodians, infrastructure service providers to ease adoptions, right? Now we got BitGo, we got Keyrock, we got Redino. We still have many in the pipeline. But on the other side, try to, from the angle, like how to make it easier for whatever is a small startup or big enterprise to join the VBET DAO, or you know doing any kind of application in the ecosystem. So in terms of social login, in terms of the wallets, in terms of custodian service, custodian licenses, those are things we're still working on that and are getting pretty much very close to get it done. And then for anybody, whatever your traditional enterprise or individual developers or even a small startup, when you try to join, even you said, "Oh, I don't know anything about a crypto. I don't know how to build a smart contract. I don't need to. I don't know how to build the API to call the transaction here and there based on my application logic." Well, you can use some established infrastructure tools to do that, and it will make the entry point even lower. So that's everything we do. It's actually serve to onboard more builders, more entrepreneurs, and we're looking very much about their success because their success put them together. That's VeChain success. Simple.
Absolutely, well said. Um, also, I know from my show notes here that potentially you're working on an AI roadmap. Tell us a bit about how you're going to integrate AI agents, and much more.
Yeah, actually, that's gonna be next Monday. Maybe by this podcast that's being released, it's
Yeah.
already there, right?
Yes.
So I welcome everybody to check it out. Um, that's let's say, we are the one of very few keep updating the white paper. Even for the VBetter, we have this 2.0 white paper for vbetter.com as well, right? So
Mm,
basically, introducing AI heavily for the next 4 years or 5 years roadmap of the vbetter.com. So ultimately, I would say, in my theory, the ultimate utility for crypto, it has to be with AI. I even have a theory say the crypto is not designed for human; it's actually designed for machine, right? Well, you get that very easily. Think about that. Those micro transactions, a human not gonna do that. Let's say I owe you 1 cent. Do you expect me to pay you 1 cent? No,
yeah.
right? You're asking for a beer or something, but you're not gonna expect me to pay you 1 cent. But the machine do all the time. For
Right.
that kind of a fractional data or fractional exchange, machine can process, that kind of the micro transactions all the time, right? And also, no human would expect themselves to process transaction like 1,000 per day.
Right.
No, but a machine can process 1,000 transactions per second, right? So I would say with these kind of the features, crypto is really designed for machine, not for human. However, when we think about the current utility of the entire crypto world, the most of the utility of the crypto is still between human to human.
Yeah.
I pay you, I trade with you, I do the borrow and lending protocols. It's still human to human, right? So what about machine to human or human to machine or even machine to machine?
Mm,
So those three scenarios, I believe it's, with a huge potential
sure.
with adoptions of the different type of applications and the user growth. So that's what we described in general, in high level, into this white paper. And actually, VBetter DAO and all of the external applications already doing from machine to human, that type of use case, right? So from a user perspective, okay, I use a recycle mug to do my mug shot. But from the application point is, okay, I use AI agent, verify your actions, and I reward you or pay you rewards in crypto way, in exchange of data, in exchange of actions,
Mm,
right? So the VBetter and also the external applications is already from machine to human. We're going to continue to scale up. We're still aiming 20 million users. Last time we talked, I think we're talking about like, oh, we just passed the 1 million user bar, right? Now we have two applications past 2 million user bar, and we're continue to grow and still aiming 20 million user total and 100 applications as our next milestone. And also we're looking for the new possibility how to leverage with AI to
mm,
make the DAO governance even better, more accessible, more user friendly to anybody. We talk about the challenges for most of the DAO in the world. The DAO relies on the governance voting, but
right.
unfortunately, not everybody is expert on everything,
Yeah.
right? But AI can be expert on everything. So let's say in the next time when you have a proposal, when you even just have an idea, you can talk to the AI to work a proposal together, even getting the voting process, to make the ecosystem better, to make the governance rules better. So those are things that really elaborated
Mm,
and described with the deliverables in the roadmap. That's basically our idea. That's also not only for the midterm deliverables, but also for the long-term goals. Eventually, we want to build up the new commerce world with enterprise adoption, individual user growth, mass adoption from retail users, and then eventually formalize a new commerce world with AI agents, with the crypto as a blood floating around. So basically, that's what we drew the first, what we drew the picture in the first version of white paper back to 2017.
Mm.
And we just, take a step by step, stage by stage, and review what we really do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems, to your point, as the technology gets more advanced and even humanoid robots, along with AI agents, they're going to be using crypto blockchain rails, and to your points of micro payments and much more. So this is certainly going to be a big part of the
Yeah.
Web3 ecosystem.
Well, just imagine some of the interesting use case, right? Today, if you want to buy a hair dryer, what you gonna do? You go to the Amazon, you go to the Alibaba, then you search and you find the best that you want to do, or you can just talk to your AI agent butler,
Yeah.
right? Saying, okay, I pay you $200 in crypto. That's my budget. Get me a hair dryer next day in my house. And
Mm.
then they will search the whole world and find the best deal for you, fit your requirement, and deliver to you, right?
Yep.
So those type of it's just one of the use cases we were thinking, and also they could be one of our community projects called Nubila. So they're basically collecting the crime data from the decentralized IoT devices as a crime data collector. So basically, the centralized AI agent could talk to each IoT devices saying, okay, I need the data from Brazil in September,
Mm.
or I need the data from Indonesia in August, right? So I'm going to pay you microtransactions for every piece of data you upload to me. So it's kind of like a machine to machine, that
Yeah.
kind of use cases. So whatever from human to machine or machine to human or machine to machine, I would say that will be the new um, value adding or new driving point for the global economy.
Mm.
So um, I believe that's the ultimate utility of the crypto.
Yeah. It's so fascinating, the convergence of these 2 technologies and how they fit with each other, and, they're gonna complement our lives, like, the example you gave of ordering something. Currently, we talk to the Amazons and the Google Alexa and all that stuff, right? But it's gonna be more advanced. To your point, it can go out and shop for us, find the best deals, and do those micro payments where I don't have to take out my credit card or anything,
Yeah,
it does it.
yeah, and then enterprise and individual users they're gonna formalize a different type of relationship thanks to crypto. Well, generally speaking, we talk about the internet is a technology, or even AI is
Mm.
a technology for productivity, right? It increase the productivity in an unimaginary level,
Mm.
100%. So what is the blockchain? Blockchain is actually the technology for new relationship, like how people work with people, how people work with a company, work with an association, even work with a government. That's what a blockchain is. And the crypto is just acting as, the connecting dots or connecting points, or basically like a blood flowing into the entire ecosystem and make it live. So that's a really exciting future for the future utility, the future application, and following the recent conversations with many institutions, everybody is looking for that. So
Mm.
every time I share our thoughts, what we're doing, what we're delivered, and everybody get their own eyes open, like, oh, we should talk more about this. I mean, they mentioned about the entire crypto market, right? Not just the DATs, not just the liquidity, the big money flowing around here and there, or price talks. We need to talk about the more future of the technology, how to go to really goes to the mainstream. I would say the finance adoption coming from institutional adoption, or even we call it Wall Street adoption. right?
Mm.
You're very close to the Wall Street, so you know that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a Wall Street adoption, it's actually just a first step because that means preparing the money, prepare more funds injected to the ecosystem, but eventually the money is smart. Money will flows into um, whoever got the utility,
Yeah.
whoever got the value, whoever can last the longer. That's what we call the investment, right? Otherwise, it will, sounds like a betting or gambling for short term. I'm not exclude the possibility for the short term, but eventually the smartest money, the long term, investment, that's going to be the main theme.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. You mentioned digital asset treasury companies earlier. I'm curious what you think about this trend and these companies buying different crypto assets, putting it on their balance sheets, and possibly one that may hold VET token soon.
Well, the DAT as the new concept actually evolves like super fast,
Mm,
right? MicroStrategy was the first one,
yeah.
holding the Bitcoin and getting much, much bigger by time, and then come up with Ethereum, then come up with other portfolios. To be honest, I received maybe 10 to 15 different type of inquiries to collaborate. Um, Firstly, it's really positive to have this kind of the concept and also iterating the format very fast. And actually, recently, just a couple of days ago, I heard, I read the news. SEC start to, take a close look and even getting a new requirement about those DATs,
Mm,
right? Whatever you try to increase the or launching some secondary offering, you need to have all board members or shareholders approval. Those kind of restrictions. I think it's bullish. It's positive. It's
mm,
getting more regulated, more let's say incentivize or motivate the right guys to play the right game, but not just try to be in a short term gain or a short term gain, right? Um, so also it kind of opened up the funnels to more money, to new funds,
yeah.
which they are who let's say are not able to buy crypto directly. Even like a pension funds or insurance funds, they're not gonna go to the Coinbase, open an account, and start to buy the tokens. They cannot, right? There are many regulations require them, and they play the different strategy way. But investing into the stocks, that could be opportunity for them, and to the projects, you kind of open up the funnel to
Yeah.
new funds. But also on the other side, I think it's just a matter of time. Honestly, when we heard about the DAT and it getting very hot to now, it's just 2 or 3 months. It's extremely fast how they iterate, right? Whatever from the regulation side or from the player side. Ultimately, I would say, following the logic from SEC, the regulators or the market, the smartest money, we're looking at, okay, what is the real fundamentals of those tokens or for the DAT stocks
Mm,
as well. Like, why would I buy this stock, not buying that stock, right? Um, so let's say it's eventually back to the fundamentals. It's just like any kind of investment portfolio. You got to look out for the real growth, look for the future business model, what kind of the impacts or value you're creating. So eventually it's the same thing. It's just a different type of format. So in a nutshell, I would say the DAT is just getting the infrastructure to the traditional market ready or be even better than before. And now the game or the ball is back to its project's hands, like what the utility you're creating, how
mm.
many users you're onboarding, right? Is your model is going to be sustainable or not? That kind of question.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. Yeah, it's gonna get very competitive, and then you're gonna have to invest wisely, to see which company's doing the best
Yes.
strategy and things like that.
Yeah. And also, I bet in the future, even now, getting, growing like this way, if you're just creating a company holding whatever single assets or basket of portfolio and doing nothing, it's not going to be ideal, whatever from the regulator point of view or from the market point of view.
Since we last spoke, the Genius Act passed was huge for the stablecoin market. We got the Clarity Act coming up in the fall, which should be really big, the meat and potatoes, and a lot of the important things for the market. What are your thoughts? Are you anticipating that gets passed and it unlocks a lot of innovation?
Of course, 100%, 100%. From different type of angles. Firstly, you kind of sweep away the cloud on the name in
Mm.
terms of crypto and the blockchain. Nobody even talk about the SPF anymore,
Yeah.
right? um, so, and also that means also the enterprise institutions have no any barriers come to the crypto market. So
Mm.
they start to first they introduce serious money into the market. Secondly, looking for any collaborative opportunity to boost up their own business, secure their future positions in the very competitive market. And also, last but not least, I think it's very good to today's White House administration of President Trump. And his idea, I think he's super smart and genius to set up the United States, set up the goal to make
Mm.
the United States, America, to be the capital, crypto capital of the world, right? And it definitely will secure the leading position of the United States in the high tech, basically already leading the way in the AI, and secure the position of crypto, and also plus all of the other high tech and technologies. You're gonna make, you know, simply to say, make a U.S. great again. So it's quite bullish, and I think every other countries gonna follow up. They will have to. They're not gonna have any choice, because eventually the choice will be on people's hand, right?
Mm.
Think about the country like Venezuela or um, some underdevelopment countries. If the currency system not favorable to the users, the people are going to choose the stablecoin.
Yeah.
The people will choose the dollars in the different forms, right? So eventually, everybody needs to catch up, needs to follow the trend, because the trend is just inevitable. So that, and to the crypto guys, that means huge amount of the users, unimaginary level of amount of users waiting for you to onboard. Then you gotta speed up, do your thing, do your products, make your technology be utilized by anybody in the world, and then you will win. So eventually, I would say again, utility will be the king.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny. I can't wait for the day when some of the on-chain people say, "Hey, there are a billion people on chain." We hit that goal or that marker.
Yeah, now even we talk about. I think the last time I saw the data, it's 400 million something or 500 million, less than 500 million total crypto users,
Yeah,
right? But most of the users, I have to say, still just be an exchange user,
yeah,
right? They keep all of the assets in the exchange. They didn't never use the product itself. But I would say it's quite common for any kind of new technologies,
sure.
right? When you think about the dot-com wave, when
Yeah,
you think about the early stage of the mobile phone, it's just taking time to grow. But the key is still you gotta have some application people can use on every day.
yeah,
Like people use Google, use Amazon, use Facebook. Now are using ChatGPT or Grok every day, right? So you got to have a functionality and utilities, and the real massive adoption will be there. Otherwise, it's just traders or investors, and if there's no user, and what's the point, right? What's the future?
yeah. No, great point. That's why I like, V Better, where you're doing things in the real world, you're getting rewarded, you're connected on chain, right? Like we talked many times, charging your Tesla or using a certain
Yeah,
type of cup or whatever it is. If once we get that into the real world and people say, "Oh, you mean I can earn rewards for things I normally do and do better for the environment?" I think once that connection is there, you're going to start to see a lot of people participating.
yeah, and then eventually, all of the Web3 users, they don't even realize they're using Web3,
Yeah.
right? They're just using the different type of applications, or using a super application, or do this or do that. in the application, right?
Mm.
So it's just like today, nobody call themselves like, oh, I'm an internet user.
Y
Well, everybody is an internet
yeah.
user.
Right.
So for Web3, it's definitely that way. It's inevitable.
Yeah, yeah, great analogy there. Final item here, any updates with Dana White and UFC? I remember seeing a video, Dana White said he bought some VET token and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's great, man. He's great. He went all in. He
Yeah,
went all in, as he said. He actually, do the real thing.
yeah.
I noticed some of the community reading up the different voice saying like, oh yeah, you just give that token to Dana for free. No, that's not the case. I didn't even know before he say that in front of the CoinDesk. I was like, dude, you serious? He said, yeah. I just asked him, my man to go to the Coinbase and I bought the $1 million VAT from the Coinbase. I would say, wow, you are a serious advisor. Actually, I believe I really respect for that. He
Yeah.
said, it's not because I know you. I understand your saying. I also try your products before I put the serious money into that and
Mm,
agreed to be your advisor. So it's just like think about Warren Buffett, right?
mm.
He invested heavily in the Coca-Cola because he loved Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
He drinks like 5 cans a day, even when he over like 85 or 90 years old. That's the right logic to do any kind of investment, especially for serious investment.
yeah,
If you put, let's say, $100 million in some of the project, and you never use the product from the company or from the project, I mean, it's really risky, right?
yeah.
So firstly, Dana put his own money as an investor, and also he become a really valuable advisor.
Mm,
I cannot disclose too many details, but we're working. Thanks to Dana, we're working an opportunity to collaborate with one of the biggest players in the market, not the crypto market, in the traditional market,
mm.
in the high tech area to integrate the AI and the crypto, even some wearable devices to make the user journey even smooth, even easier. So, yeah, Dana has been like super supportive. Every time I talk to him once, maybe sometimes once a week, sometimes once 2 weeks. I'm gonna meet him again in October in Vegas, and so he has been you know, only helpful but nothing else.
Mm.
He's helping everything and try his best, really try his best to give the answers, give the advices, or put the right connections, enable some of the use cases. Yeah, I really grateful.
That's awesome, and it's great to hear the relationship is going well. Sonny, as always, a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the future updates. And we're gonna do another one maybe in another 3 months and talk about the latest and greatest. And I'm looking forward to Monday with the AI news launching. And this is gonna be out after Monday, but next week for sure. So, thank you so much, Sonny. Really great stuff.
Yeah, always being a super pleasure to talking to you, Tony, and hopefully we can get back together very soon.